This is Matthew McAllister, Scottish virtuoso guitar player. So thank you for doing this interview.
No problem.
We're at the 2013 Montreal International Classical Guitar Festival and Competition, which is a bit of a mouthful. And you performed 2 nights ago, and you did a master class as well, and adjudicated, correct?
I did indeed, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is all coming off of a few other dates in Canada, correct?
Yeah, it is. This is the last sort of performance in Canada. Here in Montreal, but I've been in Vancouver and Victoria, and I was in Toronto, St. Catharines, down in sort of Niagara region, then through Ottawa, and then finished here in Montreal. So, been great.
Yeah. How do you like the tour? How do you like going across Canada?
I've loved it actually. I've played in a lot of different countries in the world, and this is one of the ones I've spent most time in, like almost a full month in Canada. But it's really different from like West Coast to East Coast, and the people are very different. But it's like it's very friendly, very relaxed, really nice audiences. Here in Montreal, the audience were fantastic, and in Vancouver too, and Ottawa. I mean, everywhere I played, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed sort of the landscape. It's quite similar to Scotland: hills, mountains, lakes, and the climate is really nice too. Yeah.
Do you enjoy the lifestyle of touring, of being on the road, or do you ever miss home? Or
yeah, I do miss home, definitely. Yeah, I mean, this year I've played in Austria as well, and I'm going to play in Italy next month, and then I'm going to the Czech Republic, all before sort of the summer. And last year I did a lot of touring, and I was away for a long time. But it kind of builds up, I've not always been away a huge amount of the year, but the last few years I've really been away a lot. I do enjoy it. I enjoy meeting people, and I enjoy playing in different places. Travelling is essentially pretty boring, sitting on planes and trains and stuff. That's not that fun. But the arriving in new cities is really exciting, So you always pick up the energy again.
How do you keep it fresh then when you have to perform and when you have to do the musical part of your job? How do you transition yourself from getting from point A to point B and maybe being a little bit bored or whatever into performing and doing that for the audience?
The getting up for the concert isn't that much of a problem, in the sense that I think it's just a great thing to be able to do. I mean, like, very lucky to be able to play the guitar and travel the world and play these concerts for people and for audiences. So, I don't need to sort of think, I had a hard travel, a really difficult time. As soon as I sort of get backstage and can see the audience coming in and you're going to play a concert, I just don't even contemplate the nasty travel stuff. You're just sort of really excited about playing the gig. So no, I don't really battle with that so much. I think you can do it sometimes. Sometimes you can have a particularly difficult travel, or something about where you're playing you don't like. But you've kind of got to have a responsibility not to let that come through in the music, because then the music suffers. Not you are the less important part of that sort of relationship. So you don't want to play a concert angry because something really bad happened to you on your travels, because then the music suffers. So yeah, it's a balance.
So what is the mark of a good performance in your opinion? What happens to make you walk away and feel like that was a really good performance and feel like you really did what you wanted to do?
I guess some of that's probably a personal thing, in the sense that you want to play well, you want to be accurate. All those things are sort of technical. I guess emotionally, leaving the right feeling with all the music that you play is really important. Not letting the intensity or sort of nervousness maybe of a concert situation affect what you really want to do with the music. So it sort of curtails your phrasing, curtails you as a musician. You want to be able to put that forward. That I think is the most difficult thing. So all the variables of performance and the things that are difficult about it, they don't affect the quality of the music that you actually end up giving out. You end up communicating. So you can get a feeling from the audience, if they're really enjoying it, if they're entertained. Like here in Montreal, I had a great time on stage because the audience were so receptive, so friendly. They were, that was great. So it makes me perform better and better. I sort of improve.
You made a point of noting that they're quiet, but in a good way.
Yeah, they were super quiet.
I'd just like to thank you all for coming to the concert.
kind of good of you, because without you, it's a nice hall to play in, but that's about it, really. So it's nice that you're here. You're very attentive, and you're very quiet, which I'm very appreciative of. I like to play quiet myself sometimes, and it's nice when the audience are so quiet. You're very, very quiet. Wish I could find another word. Maybe a more flattering word, attentive. You're very attentive, which is great, because not everywhere you go you get that luxury, you know. And I've played a lot of concerts in different countries all over the world, and I don't always get that luxury to make music in front of people that are so in tune with what's going on. So thank you very much.
Really, like, super quiet, because, you know, I've played in different countries where, like, you know, mobile phones now seem to be basically switched on for entire concerts, and, you know, you look out into the audience and you see lots of little white faces, because you know, the light of the phone is shining up onto the face the whole time, and so people look ghostly out in the audience. Or you hear buzzing, the vibrating. I mean, people think that turning a phone on silent is allowing it to vibrate, but vibration causes energy, which causes noise. And all I hear sometimes in concerts is bzzz, bzzz, bzzz from the audience. So, you know, this concert in Montreal was great. I mean, I know the concert was underground, so there was probably no reception, like, you know, but it's a very nice concert hall, and I think it was just really silent, so you can play like super pianissimo.
So it's in 3 movements, and it has 2 of the quietest notes that I play on the guitar at the very end, so use your ears. You've got to work hard for this one as well, not just me.
You can really bring the audience in, and then it's quite explosive when you play with a bigger dynamic. So the concentration from the audience was great here. Yeah, that was a good concert here in Montreal, so I guess that answers your question, kind of thing. You were at the concert, it was like the feeling between the audience and performer was really nice. And that's the most important thing for me, you know, that connection. You know, it's not just about playing your pieces perfectly. That's irrelevant, really. This is now an occasion, it's an event, and it involves the audience. They have a responsibility, and so does the performer, you know. So I like that.
And I want to talk just too, but how did you arrive at selecting your program? What did you include, and, you know, why? What is the thought process behind that?
Well, I'm quite thematic with programs. Like, I like certain keys, and I like certain tunings. I like stability. You know, I don't really like guitar concerts where you have to constantly retune guitar strings. That breaks my concentration, and I think the guitar never goes in tune, you know. So I like to keep the guitar in one tuning for a half, you know, of a concert, or even a whole concert if possible, not always possible.
So anyway, it wouldn't be a guitar concert if I didn't play any Albano, right? And you know how I said I like themes? I like things to make sense. This is in D, so it means I don't have to change my bottom string. So that was my thinking behind this bit of Albano.
And I also like music to develop from the piece that you've heard before. So, you know, I had this, you know, suites idea in this concert. I had a suite by Bach, a suite by Leo Brouwer, mixing them together.
And then I thought, oh, this is nice. This suite number 1 for solo cello by Bach, which starts as you just heard. And I got Brouwer's music out the library, and I thought, it's the same notes. And for quite a few bars, like with 6 or 8 bars, he uses the same intervals, the same relationship between notes. But then, of course, he's a Cuban, and he was quite young when he wrote the piece. The music goes elsewhere. Funnily enough, the music does use French dance forms, like the Bach suite does. The burlesque allegro, the second allegro, burlesque is a great form of French dance. So I just like this idea of suite number 1 by Bach and suite number 2 by Brouwer. It sort of really appealed to me.
I also like to play Scottish music when I go abroad, you know, especially. I mean, I play it at home too, but it's part of my identity. I've grown up with a lot of traditional music in Scotland, so I like to put that in the concert programmes, because I identify with it, and then I think people get a closer connection to me, you know, musically, because they hear me playing music that I grew up with and I really like, and I think I can interpret well. So yeah, there's some Scottish music in the programme pretty much always when I'm abroad.
That's nice though, because there are guitarists all over the world from different countries, different backgrounds. You can't listen to everything, so it's nice to bring something from your own home out on the road and share that with people.
Definitely agree with you, and I think that maybe other guitarists should do more of that, you know, and so we hear music from their backgrounds and their countries. You know, when you go to guitar festivals like this one here, you tend to hear, I mean, we've just had the competitions just finished today, and, you know, we did have, I think, you know, 4 or 5 multiple performances of the same piece when we think about the different rounds of the semi-final and the final that I adjudicated.
you know, that's normal in guitar festivals to hear the same piece over and over again in a competition, but like, you know, it's not great if you hear that on the concert platform. So I'd like to try and find unusual pieces, or pieces that are not just going to be the norm to hear, you know.
Not just throwing together a greatest hits kind of concert.
You know, and a lot of CDs are like that. A lot of guitar recordings are like that. There's like 20 pieces and they don't really bear any connection to each other, but we expect them to be on a guitar CD, you know.
And I don't know about you, but I can't stand all these guitar CDs that are just collections of nice tunes. I mean, I have loads of these in my library at home, you know, and you turn them on and it's a bit of Taraga, oh, a bit of Albanian, oh, a bit of Bach, oh, a bit of, like, you know, somebody else. And I just sit and listen to them and I think, my head's gone. I can't concentrate on anything anymore. So I like these thematic ideas in music making.
I mean, is that, how artistic is that? You know, I mean, we could argue that all day, but I don't think it's that artistic. So, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the competition as well. You were adjudicating.
Yeah.
What do you look for when you're adjudicating? I mean, there's obviously a lot going on. You know, how do you? It can be tough to make the decisions, but what are some of the criteria that you're kind of looking for when you're watching, especially when you're seeing multiple performances of the same piece?
Yeah, I mean, I don't adjudicate that many guitar competitions, which is something I'm quite happy. Like, I don't want to start adjudicating a lot, really. You know, I mean, I like competitions and I see the purpose of them, and I think they're great things, but I'm not sure musically that, you know, how can you say that one person is musically better than another? You know, it's so, well, there's subjective things and there's objective things in competitions. Some competitions have really great criteria and set rules, so then you follow a plan. You know, you mark people out of 100 or 25 or whatever, and you count up points at the end, and then there's not much discussion, you know. This competition here in Montreal, there's a lot of free choice, and you can repeat music for different rounds, so it gives a lot of flexibility to the performers here, and the competitors obviously kind of indulge that, because, you know, we heard some people play the same piece in the semi-finals and then in the finals. Now, it might not go well, do you know what I mean? But you can't, on that day, remember if they played it well in the semi-final and then they had a bad day in the final. You've got to take it on right now. You know, these 5 guys or girls competing against each other, what's happening, you know. I'm looking for the best musician who can operate a guitar, you know what I mean. I don't want someone who is, you know, sublimely technical on the guitar but has very little to say musically. That's fine, that's operating a guitar well, but it's not musically saying very much. So I'm you know, priority naturally is musicianship. You know, I want to be involved in the piece of music because the person's interpreting it in a really tasteful way. So bringing the piece to life, maybe not letting their ego dominate the piece. And I'm also looking for a level of technical competence which matches the repertoire they've chosen to play. You know, these are the things that I'm looking for.
Not going in over their head or anything.
Yeah, not playing music that's beyond them, emotionally and intellectually, and not trying to play something that's technically beyond them. You know, those things are not, they're not a good match. You know.
Is there any difference between what you would look for in a competition performance versus what would, you know, be pleasing in a performance, like in a concert performance? Or do you find that it's you know, generally the same kind of things that would apply to either?
Well, I mean, in a competition, you know, you don't address your audience. You know, you don't come in and welcome them to the concert. You don't give them, you know, background information about the music. You sort of you're playing to a jury, and there may be a public watching. So there's a more formal feeling and a slightly more detached feeling to a competition. So I'm not looking for the personality of the performer to come across in the introductory sense, you know. I'm looking for it to come forward through the music, and I am personally not looking for it to overbear the music, you know. I'm looking for it to be in sort of the right balance. You know, I don't think people sometimes, well, I don't know, a lot of these people are young, you know, so they've not had a huge amount of concert experience. They've probably played a lot of competitions, but they haven't given many concerts. And as soon as you start to give concerts to the general money-paying public, that's when you realise, actually, you've got to be an entertainer as well, you know. I mean, of course, if you're an exceptionally good guitarist and musician and artistically you have something to say and it comes through in your music, maybe you don't address your audience, maybe you just go from piece to piece. I like to have the connection, so I definitely have an element of entertainment, I hope, in what I do, you know, in between the pieces and things.
At the time that some of these pieces were being recorded in Scotland, the next music was being written in Germany, and I'm sure you're familiar with this composer. If you've not, I don't know. where you've been all your lives. But then, in fairness, he did die in 1750, so there's no reason why you should know who he is, really, if you think about it.
But you know, some people don't, like, you know, and I totally admire that as well, but they usually have something incredibly strong to say artistically, so that comes through anyway, you know. But a lot of the competitors, I don't think they're concert goers, but concert givers. If one of them comes on stage though and gives a concert in the competition, that's fine, because, you know, it might be so sublime that we just think, oh, there's the clear winner. You know, he treated it like a concert, or she treated it like a concert, you know.
But could be a risk in some cases too, where they want more of the formalities in there.
Could be, you know, it's not just one guy or one woman on a panel, it's a group of people trying to come to a decision, you know, and I mean, they're not always unanimous, you know, you have to debate it out, you know, without giving you too much information away about today's competition.
No, of course not. The masterclass that you gave was also really good.
I like that, there's more colour there, and that's nice as a contrast, but maybe the phrase isn't any different really, you know, the way you're actually phrasing it. And why I'm getting you to try it without the slur.
You seem to like teaching.
Oh, I do, yeah. I mean, I've been teaching for a long time, even when I was very young. I was teaching like really young people as well, like, you know, so I was maybe 16, 17, and I was teaching like kids that were like 8 or 9 in my village. And I come from a very small village in Scotland, so like I had about 250, 300 people or something. So, you know, if anybody could play music, they would help other people out and show them things. And I remember teaching in the back of my mum and dad's house for years, you know. Even when I was going to the academy in Glasgow to get lessons, I'd go back every couple of weekends and do a bit of teaching. So, you know, I have taught quite a lot, and now I teach at, you know, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland in Glasgow, and I teach at St Andrews Uni. So I have experience teaching students of different levels, different ages, and yeah, I mean, the class here was nice because it was mixed. You know, there was some masters level at, you know, at the University of Toronto, and then there was some, the little kid Bachan who played like Asturias.
It's kind of coming in waves, you know. Try that from there.
Yeah, I wish I could play like that back then.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking when I was 12, was I playing Asturias, you know? And I think I told him I wasn't, but I think I maybe had a go at some of it, you know, at that age. But it's great to see, and he was really good, and I really enjoy it. I think it's great fun, you know, and I like to just meet the people through the lesson as well, not just meet the guitarist, like, you know, try and figure out what makes them tick, why they're playing the guitar, what they like about music, all these things, you know. It's very enjoyable teaching. It's also you teach yourself at the same time, because you see people have problems and you think, oh, I kind of have that problem too. You know, and how have I overcome that? Maybe my experience helps them, and then you kind of share this, you know. And it reminds you sometimes, oh, yeah, I could work on that, or I could think that. You know, it's a two-way thing. It's really, really nice, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Martin was actually mentioning kind of the same thing in his master class, in that he'll recommend something to a student, and then, you know, he realizes, oh, why don't I do that myself? Like, I'm telling this person, but I need to. So do you feel that teaching also kind of helps round you out as a musician in some ways?
Definitely.
Does it ever?
It reminds you that things are not always easy. You know, the things that sometimes come easy to some people are the things that are very difficult for others, you know, and you've got to know that. You've got to know that you find something very easy because naturally you're attuned to it, and actually the things that you find hard, you need to work on, you know. And yeah, masterclasses with other good guitarists. I mean, some of these students are very good. It reminds you of the work that they've put in, you know. And I mean, Martin's concert was obviously amazing last night, and the magical element of it, especially.
I'm a musician, but I'm also a magician.
You know, I was sitting just learning a lot in the concert, just thinking, all right, I want to try that, I want to play a bit more like that, or, oh, that's interesting, I hadn't quite grasped that about his playing, because, you know, I've heard him before, and he's come to Scotland, and, you know, I've had him teach for me at my festival in Scotland, and you know, I know something of how he approaches music and thinks about music, but the concert was a learning experience for me, you know, seeing him again under different conditions and sort of thinking, oh, okay, very interesting, you know, so learning all the time, I hope.
Yeah. What is the festival that you run?
Oh, my festival is, it's not really a festival, I guess, it's more like a sort of retreat, like a meeting, you know, and it's on an island off the west coast of Scotland. It's very small. It's called Classical Guitar Retreat, that's the name, and it's always sort of in July, first weekend in July, runs for about 4 or 5 days, and it's, the venue is the smallest cathedral in Europe, so it's pretty intimate, you know. And we've had, like, you know, some great guitarists, David Russell, Amanda Cook, Anna Vidovic, Marcin played, Roland Dienz is coming this year. So it's nice, really nice, lovely little festival. Yeah.
Cool. The next thing, actually, just change gears.
Yeah.
A lot of you're kind of a guitarist who embraces the digital age, I guess.
Oh, okay.
You know, you're active on Twitter and you have some interesting videos and things. I was actually going to mention to you before, I really like the video of the Silent Night video that you have.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. I saw that and it's just like, what is this?
What is this man doing?
I thought it was great. It was brilliant. Yeah, so, you know, using technology to your advantage, do you feel that that's important for a working musician these days to make available, you know, make use of social media, of videos, of recordings in order to promote themselves or to even just learn from their own side?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like, you know, now, I don't think people listen to music much, unfortunately, anymore without visual. You know, a video. I mean, I listen to a lot of music at home, but I still listen to vinyl, like, you know, some sort of dinosaur. But I have a massive vinyl collection, a good hi-fi and a really good turntable, and I would sit and listen to music, and really listen, not just have it on while I'm, I don't know, ironing or walking about the house. I'm listening to it like I'd read a book. But I definitely think that nowadays people need to be really savvy with the internet, you know, but not too soon, you know, because some guys are responsible, players are responsible for, like, you know, putting one video of them playing one piece pretty well on YouTube, and it's not representative of a whole concert, you know. You can tell if the concert's live on YouTube how good someone is, because you can see them playing, and that's what they deliver when they're live. Yeah, I guess you called me internet savvy. I'm not so sure how savvy I am, because I mean, you like the Silent Night video, but imagine if you'd never heard me play, and the first ever experience you had was of me in a Christmas jumper, sitting in front of my Christmas tree playing Silent Night. You might think I was the cheesiest man of all time, but it's done as a joke, you know, at Christmas because we had a nice tree. So yeah, I don't know, it could work against me or for me. You know, I'm glad you got the joke, but some people might think it's serious.
Well, it's great playing regardless. So it's a good
really good Silent Night. Yeah, thanks very much.
It's win-win. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's originally a guitar piece, you know, guitar and voice.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have a Chet Atkins arrangement that's really cool.
There you go.
Well, it's funny because I posted the video of the Chet Atkins arrangement that I had, and then I saw yours, and it's like, oh, well, I've been outdone here. Like, this is, he's going to want to watch mine.
The production value is pretty high, I've got to say. Yeah.
Where do you see things going in the next 10 years in terms of interactions with technology, and what do you see being the change in the dynamic between a performer and their audience, or, you know, musician and their fans or audience?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite cool. You know, here the concerts were broadcast live, you know, which I thought was amazing. So you could live stream them online. So, you know, my concert on Friday and Martin's performance on Saturday, both of them you could have watched live, which is very cool. I didn't really know they were getting broadcast till afterwards, or I'd have told people in Scotland to check it out, you know. But anyway, I mean, the thing is, more stuff like that, you know, more really hands-on. You could, you know, the Met Opera Company, you can pay subscriptions in your local cinema in Glasgow, like, you know, in the UK, and you can watch the Met, you know, kind of getting being broadcast. I don't know if it's live, but it might be. And you can see their whole series. I know the Berlin Philharmonic do the same thing. They have like Berlin Philharmonic TV. So I don't know if like concert halls are going to get much more involved like that, you know, and festivals can do that now too. What I hope is that that the quality doesn't go down and the listening experience doesn't go down, you know, because I think I'm noticing that people don't have as great an attention span, you know. Even students, you know, they don't want to play really big works, you know, because they want to play maybe smaller works and things, you know, and I hope that the attention span doesn't dwindle and the quality level doesn't go down, because technology is so user friendly, you know. And also that people aren't faking things, you know, because there's a bit of that going on, controversial guitar chat. But you know, I mean, like, you know, you can pick up a lot of stuff very cheaply and kind of make your own stuff, and you know, it's a shame that, you know, people might practice the technology harder than they practice their instrument, you know, which is well, we'll not go there.
A bit of a controversial subject, but we'll leave it at that, I guess. Yeah.
Unedited video performances only.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
One thing too that I didn't realize before until your masterclass was you actually have a different right hand technique than most, which I was unaware of. So what happened there? I mean, you use your pinky.
Well, yeah, I do. I use my pinky. A bit. I mean, I probably overuse my A and my I.
and I use my pinky a bit. I use my pinky for when I have to play 4-note chords that I want to play block, but I don't roll. And the reason for that is because I don't use my middle finger at all. So I'm always using IA for things like scales or melody lines when I'm alternating, and I'm using the C, the little finger, for when I want really these nice block chords and I want to voice them correctly. There was an accident when I was young and the tip of my finger came off, and I've never really ever used it because it sounds awful and it sounds really quiet. But you know, it's not one of these things where it's like a huge hindrance, because I just, you know, got on with it and learned to play my way, so that's fine, you know. I don't see it as a sort of handicap in any way, shape or form. Yeah, so I use this, but I mean, I quite seldom use the pinky finger, really. It's much more overworking of the I and the A. So, you know, dragging the fingers. So say I'm on the top 3 strings and I want to, you know, 3 notes on those strings consecutively, like a triplet or something. I drag my I or I drag my A.
Okay.
So there's a lot of dragging, and the I being above the A or the A being below the I. It's quite interesting. But,
Yeah.
bit unorthodox, I guess. You know.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing that that hasn't stopped you, though. I mean, a lot of people would be
Yeah.
maybe look for other excuses or wouldn't be as you know. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess it's good to show students when they're moaning and they're saying, "Oh, this is really
Hands are
hard,"
too
and you just go,
small.
"Really? How hard is it? Try not using your middle finger." Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't even notice until you brought it up. So that's
Okay.
really interesting.
As long as you don't know it's in the concert.
Yeah. So you're going to be touring a little bit more in Europe, a few more dates, and anything else planned in the next year? Any recordings or anything that's coming up?
Yeah, the recording was made at the start of the year. Sort of took a bit of time off really from playing in January. Didn't have many concerts, and made a recording with Aisling Agnew, the flute player. So a flute guitar CD coming out soon. And then I think I'll do something. I think I might do some more video recording, you know, but unedited live.
Not
video
video,
recording, and I think and no Christmas music.
Once enough.
But you know, so I was thinking, you know, of there's a lovely church by a lake in Scotland, and I was thinking of getting together with a couple of people and making a few new videos, you know, of new repertoire. And I want to learn some new music. So I've got, you know, these concerts in Italy and the Czech Republic and stuff. But I'm thinking, actually, you know, it's time to learn some new music. So you know, I need to take some time out to do that.
Good. Well, I look forward to seeing any new videos, and yeah, hopefully seeing you again perform.
Yeah, well, it'll be great. I mean, thanks for the interview as well. And good luck with your website.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to have you here at the festival. So
A pleasure.
thank you very much.
No worries, Jonah. Thank you.